Hello, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today's video is going to be just a chill draw with me style video, because I think that those are always fun, and I really enjoy watching them, and I want to try making some, so this is kind of like a test run, and I already made one before, but this one's going to be like a little bit better. You know, each time they're getting a little bit better, so I hope that it's like a little bit enjoyable to watch, and maybe you can get some insight into my process, and it'll inspire you to do some drawings. So the program that I'm in is Krita for today, and that's been my go-to for digital drawing recently. Yeah, it's pretty nice. And some of the topics that I'll be talking about today include the usual, like creativity, spirituality, male loneliness, yeah, probably ranting about some stuff. I don't know. And then I'm also thinking like maybe I'll draw a little bit and then I'll kind of like render it out in silence and speed that part up. And then I'll come back in to narrate the end, because I don't know how streamers do it, how they just talk for like hours and hours. Like, doesn't that like put strain on your vocal cords and stuff? So I don't think that I'll be able to talk as long as I want to draw. But I also feel like the awkward silences make the video not as enjoyable. So I don't want to just like stop talking so that I can lock in to draw. Like, I feel like that just makes it kind of awkward. So I'll try to keep talking as much as I can. And some of the topics that I had planned, yeah, spirituality. On the topic of spirituality, I started my YouTube channel to kind of like do a bit, like to be in the spiritual guru persona. So like that's kind of the bit that I'm operating on. And honestly, I felt like I was kind of getting a handle on the spiritual stuff, like kind of understanding it a little. And then every day I just get humbled where I'm like, wait, I actually don't know anything. I don't understand anything. And like I read all these books and I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. And then I go back to it, I'm like, wait, I actually don't understand this at all. And I've had that problem like a lot of times in my life, like taking philosophy classes and being like, yeah, I totally understand this. And then kind of like trying to write the essay and being like, wait, maybe I don't. Like just the words and the ideas where I'm like, I don't. But I think that's kind of just like an okay thing, I guess, because like honestly, like nothing really makes sense in the world. But it does just kind of make you feel stupid sometimes when you read a paragraph and you're like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like maybe I'm not that smart of a person, I guess. But I don't know, because like sometimes it honestly is just kind of like gobbledygook. Like they're just making things up. They're defining their own terms, or like talking in code, like. And like talking in code is essential because sometimes if you want to communicate an idea, like using some sort of shorthand, you need to have an established code. So like in philosophy, like, you know, we're piggybacking off all the other philosophers that have like defined these terms and that sort of thing, ways of thinking about things. So that, yeah, like someone couldn't just pick up a book and start reading it all the time. Like sometimes you just have to have that established knowledge. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think like sometimes it can be kind of like intentionally really dense and like kind of hard to get into, just like it's almost like a sort of gatekeeping, or just like I don't really know exactly, just like they don't want you to actually understand. It's almost more poetic. That's how I feel when I read philosophy. Like I read it more like poetry, just like the way they're putting words together and that sort of thing. Which maybe I am kind of stupid, because maybe you are actually supposed to understand philosophy when you read it. But yeah, I did do a whole like philosophy minor in my undergrad, and I found all the courses so like mind-numbingly easy until I got to my final year and I took a class on Hegel and Marx. And I was just like, wait one sec. Like reading Hegel, that really humbled me so much, where I was like, wait, I'm actually stupid. Like trying to write this essay and I'm like, I don't even understand anything I'm reading. But yeah, like, I don't know. And it's funny because I made a video where I'm holding that, the phenomenology of spirit or whatever, and I like it was kind of like a joke because I thought it was like the most like, because I was doing the intellectual persona and I was like, to me that's like the most stereotypical like philosophy book, and someone commented that I'm not like other girls, which I just thought was so funny because I don't know, like I was just doing a bit and I happened to own this book anyway because I took that course, so it's like I wasn't like intentionally trying to like not. And then it's also funny because like in that class it was, I mean, probably like 50% women, if not more, but the majority of class participation in all my philosophy classes were women. And like there is kind of the stereotype of like a philosophy bro of being a guy, but it's like, it's more like the really annoying people in a philosophy class tend to be male. But like the people who are really contributing to the class discussions and that sort of thing. Definitely a lot of women. So I thought that was a baseless accusation that I felt quite attacked by. I'm very much like other girls, except that I'm like low-key maybe a little bit on the autism spectrum, so maybe that's where it comes from. But no, I like women. I like other women. Although there was a period where I identified as non-binary in middle school, but I think it's just because I just didn't really like understand gender and all this stuff, where it's like, oh yeah, gender's not real, which like I still kind of, you know, like, but anyway, it's just like really complicated. And I feel like for me, like part of my desire to be non-binary was just like, oh, like all the misogyny that I experienced, and I was like, I just want to opt out of this, right? But honestly, being non-binary, it's like, and especially when people still see you as female, like it doesn't actually save you from any of that. So then I kind of was like, okay, whatever, like I'd rather just proudly identify as a woman, and because I'm still gonna face the exact same treatment from men, you know what I mean? And that was so funny. Oh my gosh, I got catcalled today. Like, not, it's like, it's weird because it's like kind of catcalling, but it's not that bad because it's not really like sexual harassment. It's just like guys will sometimes be like, oh, you're beautiful. And usually it's a guy on a bicycle too, because they can get away really fast. I feel like guys who are just walking don't really do that, to me at least. It's always guys on bicycles. And yeah, I don't know, it kind of just makes me mad because I'm like, just because it's like one-sided, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a dialogue. Like, if someone actually came up to me and said like, oh, like, you know, you're really pretty or whatever, like, I like the way you did your makeup or something like that, well, I'm like, cool, because it was like a conversation and I'm not gonna be offended by that. But when guys just yell at you and it's just like, I just don't like that. And just in general, people really like to have like one-sided conversations. Just that really bothers me. That triggers me in a way. And on the topic of male loneliness and conversational skills, I just like, okay, when I was a teenager, like 10 years ago, when I was like 14 years old, I used to really like talking to strangers on the internet. And because there was just like this mystery about it, like of like a blank account, and it was just like a complete, it could be anyone, you know? And I really felt the allure of that. But now that I'm a grown adult with like things to do and like I'm not that bored or anything, and also like there's just not that much allure, is that I will not strike up a conversation when people are like, well, they're trying to strike up a conversation, but I just don't really reply when people message me and they have like a completely blank profile and their opening is like really generic, because it's just like, and like I feel bad sometimes because like usually this is like men who are older than me, so I feel kind of like pitiful for them just because I can tell that they're like very lonely. And yeah, in a different time I probably would have replied to them and like carried on a conversation to make them feel better, but I'm just like, I don't know, I think that they're just kind of off on the wrong track trying to start a conversation with someone who's I don't know, not that I'm gassing myself up or anything, saying I'm too good to talk to people, but just specifically these blank accounts that just try and like, I don't find that really romantic or interesting. But I do like it when strangers talk to me who actually have like some sort of discernible personality, or they try to actually give like a meaningful comment, because I think that's always interesting, and like you never know, you're gonna make a new friend or something. So I will like reply to like strangers in that way, but not just like complete anonymous strangers, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you message me with a completely blank account and you don't get a reply, it's because I'm scared that you're gonna be a stalker or something, basically. And yeah, sometimes I'm that person, like cold DMing people, if I find someone cool. So like, I do understand it. Like, I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing or anything, but I don't know, it's funny. Yeah, on the topic of male loneliness, I kind of didn't really address that. It's just, you know, some of these guys really do have potential in that, you know, they could probably find a wife if they wanted to. But instead they're DMing women half their age on Instagram, and it's just like, you know, if I was a potential mate, you know, in their community, and I found out that this guy was like DMing 20-year-old girls on Instagram, 23-year-old girls on Instagram, I would just like, I wouldn't be interested in them, you know? So that's why I kind of, it's hard to like, and I don't want to say that to men because I don't want to like offend anyone, you know what I mean? But it's just like, and like also seeing people's Instagram comments, that's been kind of like funny to me, because like that new feature on Instagram where like it's really easy to see the people who you follow their Instagram comments, which you can actually turn off, by the way, but please don't do that because I get so much entertainment from it. So please keep that on because I love seeing people's comments. But yeah, just like guys who complain about being lonely and they leave like really misogynistic comments sometimes, where it's just like, okay, well, it's like you do have potential, but if I was a girl in your real life and I saw that, like, I would be really put off. So I just think that's always interesting to me. And okay, what I'm actually drawing. So I started off with a strange mask on a kind of snake creature, and then I've done this sort of vampire girl. And the vampires are definitely my motif recently. I've really been enjoying them. And the snake creature, that was kind of like my warm-up. So let's just start anew, and maybe we'll come back to those later. On eraser mode. Yeah, I don't do a lot of digital drawing anymore, but that's kind of how I started off, I guess. Well, I first started drawing, like, obviously as a little kid. You know, as a kid, we're all artists. But my mom really, like, pushed me to do more art. So she bought me, like, actually nice watercolors and stuff like that, and pencils when I was, like, I don't even know, like, yeah, probably, like, 7 years old. Like, just from the beginning, I always had nice art supplies. And I was making, you know, for my age, pretty good stuff. And then I kind of got more into doing my own art, maybe around like 12 years old was when I really enjoyed kind of like making my own drawings that are really like original. And I got on DeviantArt and like making just like interacting with other artists on the internet and kind of seeing that there was like sort of a community or like a culture of artists. So yeah, that was like a good period for me, like making adoptables and OCs and all that sort of stuff, which I think it's I haven't met a lot of people in real life who are engaged in that, but then in the past couple of years or past couple of months even, I think I've interacted with a lot more people who have that experience, just because I think people who have that experience are maybe like a little bit more introverted, so I didn't get a chance to like really meet them that often till now, which is pretty cool. I'm like, oh, we all had the same experience. So that's pretty cool. And then in high school, I started to take art like a little bit more seriously. Like in high school and middle school, I would watch like a ton of these like, yeah, like drawing with me or like drawing tutorial videos. But like not paying too much attention to them. Like I think I kind of subconsciously absorbed a lot of the information. Like, you know, they're talking about things like ambient occlusion or whatever, and I was not taking notes and I was not really like executing a lot of those techniques. So how much I actually picked up from those videos, I don't know. I think it's more I was kind of like lonely and I just liked hearing people talk about art. So yeah, and then in high school art, I had a high school art teacher who, I had one that was really good and one who really hated me. So it's kind of like a mixed bag, but I had standardized tests in high school, and like all your assignments were like standardized, so they'd send them off to be professionally assessed. So my teacher who assessed me at a really low level because she didn't like me, but you know, it's like a jealous art teacher syndrome or whatever. But when it got off to get standardized assessed, then I did really well, so I was happy with that. And I went to art school, but like not to draw, because I always had this strong thing about like, okay, I'm self-taught at drawing. I don't need anyone to teach me how to draw. So I went to like film school, but then I ended up mostly doing drawing in film school because this was something I didn't know when I went to film school, was like, you know, all the art department stuff on like drafting, you know, making technical drawings to design sets and that sort of thing. So I ended up like really sticking to that. But I'm still glad that I didn't go to school for like illustration or painting, just because I feel like it was good getting different perspectives and meeting a lot of people who weren't just painters. And it diversified my creative practice a little bit. So yeah, no regrets about that. And then after school, yeah, I don't even know. I've just been waffling around, really. Don't really know what I want to do. I've kind of been into this comic stuff, but it was like, I got into that incidentally, just because I had a friend who referred me to this like zine. And it's mostly comics people, so I started going to these like comic events, and then now, because I'm like in the comics community, I feel like I need to make a comic, and comics do appeal to me. Like it's kind of similar to film, like doing a storyboard. So I guess I have to do a comic now, but I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of struggle with like making a real work in general. Kind of just waffle around and do doodles, which like maybe there's nothing wrong with, because I've always believed that like creative, like the act of creating something, it's more valuable than like the actual finished product. The product is just kind of like residue, you know, and the creation is like the miraculous event, if that makes sense. But at the same time, like pushing yourself to like actually finish a project or something, like that process, it's more intense than just doodling, you know, like when you actually have to like execute an idea and get through it and all that stuff and face challenges. So I'm really trying to I am trying to push myself to like do more work. But yeah, I don't know. Just doodling for now, making zines and that sort of thing. And like also just like I always hear people say like you're not gonna like your first few years of being an artist. You're not gonna like most of the stuff that you make. Or like, you know, it's only gonna be your third book that gets published and that sort of thing. So I'm also like I'm kind of like putting it off in that way, or like I'm just doing like low stakes doodling to like build my creative sensibilities before I actually like jump into a project. Like I'm kind of developing, you know, like it's in an embryonic state. But yeah, I don't know if I'm just making excuses or if there's any validity in that. I don't really know. Because sometimes I see artists, like in history, that I really, like they're my favorite artists, and they were like publishing. They had their own publishing press or whatever, or they had made their magnum opus, at my age. Well, maybe not at my age, like at 26 or whatever, so I have a couple more years, but yeah, I just feel like there's like maybe like a pressure, but it's kind of like, it's self-inflicted pressure, really. It's not like anyone's pressuring me that much. Yeah, this sketch is kind of cute. Just kind of like a demure vampire lady. So maybe I'll try coloring it or developing it more. I don't know. Because yeah, I always found these videos really interesting where people are just drawing and talking just to see how a drawing comes to life. And it's like weird because when I was watching these videos in middle school and high school, I was like, these are the best artists ever. Totally revolutionary, you know. And then I check up on some of them on Instagram sometimes, and honestly their style has stayed exactly the same in those 10 years or so. And I'm like honestly not really as impressed by it. And it's like, it's just kind of interesting. Like maybe it's my tastes developing as well. Yeah, like maybe what a 14-year-old likes is maybe different than what an adult likes from art. And just like maybe not liking so much that sort of game style, that like Riot Games house look or whatever. Especially with digital art, yeah, I guess because I've also been getting more into like analog art. Like I really love to see a pen stroke and that sort of thing. Yeah, and as for my own style, it has not developed or changed in 10 years, so I can't really be hating like that. And okay, I wonder if this is like, is this ASMR or is this like nails on a chalkboard? I'm gonna put like a filter on the audio because the squeaky sound of the nib on the tablet is really not pleasing. I love the sound of like pen on paper. That's kind of why I really love analog art, is because you can just, no music, just chill out with just the sound of pen on paper, and it just is so relaxing. So I would recommend giving analog a try. If you mostly draw digitally, there are some nice digital tools for sure that make drawing really easy, and really easy to make like a quick piece that in analog would maybe you're fighting a little bit with the materials, but it's kind of rewarding in a very different way, and I recommend giving it a try. And like a lot of those fundamental skills that you've built while doing digital art will still be there. Because yeah, so like when I was in middle school and I really started getting into like developing my own style and that, I was drawing mostly digitally. And just, yeah, there's something, it's like cheap in a way, like other than the tablet, but I was like, I don't know, my parents acquired a tablet from somewhere. I don't even, like, that's why I don't even think they paid for it. But, like, you can just make a new canvas and just start again. Which I think it's good for people starting out, because it's like, there's none of that pressure to like, okay, this is a real drawing, you know, it's just another layer, and you can just delete it and make a new one. Which I think is really good, because I think a lot of the pressure on making like finished pieces, and people put like weeks into a painting and then be like, why is my painting not selling? And it's like, I don't know, man, because it's like, it's your first painting, like it's not gonna be good. Whereas like someone who's kind of not actually made anything, but they've just been doodling, their style is developed enough that when they do make their first painting, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but anyway, that's kind of, I'm not really explaining that in the best way. Spiritual practice. Yeah, I've been enjoying meditation recently, kind of like the Zen vibe, getting back into Zen, Zazen. I just think, I don't know anything about spirituality, but it makes me feel better to meditate every day, so I guess I would recommend it. And yeah, like I'm trying to read more like literature and stuff on the topic, but honestly, like it's really just the meditation is really it. So I don't know if I even like any of these sketches, but I think it's time to get cooking and actually like try and render something out a little. And my audio recorder, I think it can only record like 1 hour at a time or something, so I'm kind of scared of it like turning off and then not recording. Oh, but anyway, we'll sort it out. Yeah, like on the topic of like technical recording, whatever, I don't know. I think I struggle a little bit with that just because I don't know, but it's just like practice. I just need to make more videos. But then sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I'm making too many videos, you know what I mean? But whatever. Yeah, art and spirituality. I do think that, I think I've said this in a lot of videos, but that art is a spiritual endeavor. Because I just feel like it's summoning something out of yourself, and spirituality, psychology, almost synonymous for me. Because I feel like I'm kind of coming at it from like with the Jungian framework, but yeah, like just like you're willing up things from your unconscious that at the same time it's exercising demons from your unconscious because you're putting them into the page. Like for example, the vampires. And what do vampires represent? Well, to me, like the vampire is obviously the blood sucking, and yeah, that's why my psychotherapist told me to get my iron levels tested. Just kind of like a tiredness or like depressed. Like I just felt completely drained when I was really getting into the vampires, and now I just kind of keep it up as a theme because I think they're cute. But like I don't necessarily suffer so much from what I was suffering from when I was like really like almost having visions of them, you know. But then from the Jungian framework, I think it was Marie-Louise von Franz who said that a vampire represents a complex so split off that you don't actually know what the complex is, but it just manifests as this kind of like draining of energy. So I think that could be true to a degree as well. But I've kind of like been working through my complexes and like understanding where my priorities are when it comes to mental health and that sort of thing. Developing healthy relationships with men has been not necessarily relationships, but like a healthy orientation towards men in general, of like not hating them too much. Because yeah, some guys, they don't deserve all the hate, but it's like but I see them kind of as like honestly, it's the same thing as men who get really misogynistic, so I can't even be hating like that, because they're all kind of in the same boat. But this gender war nonsense. Whatever. Yeah. I hope that this is kind of like, I don't know, I think I'm going off the rails here. I should have like brainstormed better conversation topics, because when I just start talking to myself, like that's the whole point of meditation, is that I'm like not going through my silly train of thought that can get so obnoxious. And now I'm really indulging in it for this video, so I don't really know if that's enjoyable or not to anyone. Oh my gosh. And I don't know. Yeah, see, this is not good. This is the awkward silence coming in. Maybe I'll have to like, I'll speed this up. I'll edit this out or something. Okay, I'll talk about my drawing. Yeah. So I'm doing a little underpainting. I feel like I would push the grease side of like the grayscale stuff a little bit more typically, but because I'm trying to do like more quick doodle, whatever. I'm not gonna refine it out too much. But yeah, usually I would say make it a little bit more refined, because it's just a mess. And you want to have some good shapes and silhouettes in there and that sort of thing, and like this is just like really sloppy and not an interesting picture at all. But it's kind of interesting just to see something get rendered out, so it's yeah, maybe it's a little bit interesting. Yeah, because like what I like about digital art, it's kind of, it has a similar vibe to me for like oil painting. Oh, and yeah, I know I could be using shortcuts, but I'm lazy. I can't remember what because I use my tablet so infrequently that I can't remember what any of the key bindings are. So I don't actually anyway. Yeah, it's kind of similar to oil paint in that you're kind of like building up layers, at least how I use it, because I use it as I'm using airbrush tool. Well, so I guess it's more similar to an airbrush. But yeah, definitely some people really take it do that like with that like vector, you know, like really doing the line work and really utilizing the layers to their fullest. But I'm kind of like a one layer painter. I mean, in this case, I'm using a couple different layers, but typically I'm using more like one layer. Or I'm using layers to build the sort of initial like colors and values, but then most of the painting would take place on one layer for me. And when it comes to color theory, like don't even talk to me about that nonsense. I don't really believe in. No, I mean I believe in it. I just don't apply it consciously, because I didn't study. I don't study. Yeah. But to me, like what's like the really enjoyable part is like rendering things out so cleanly, of like making the sharpest lines and yeah, and like this program is not laid out. I haven't made the layout very well. Yeah, but I like Krita. What I first started using Paint Tool Sai, Clip Studio Paint, Photoshop, and now Krita. And Photoshop, I think just because I added so much of this AI nonsense that it's not super pleasurable to use for me now. But also it runs really slow on my computer, and my computer's not even that bad. But it's just like, to me, like for the sort of pace that I like for digital painting, it's not the best tool for me, I would say. Yeah, but I would recommend Photoshop for sure if you have access to it. I used to pirate it, but now my mom pays for it, so I just use hers. But then I always get logged out. And Krita's free, so it's kind of like, yeah. And I've never drawn on an iPad before, so well, I have a pen tablet, like Huion brand, so I guess it's very similar to like what drawing on an iPad would be like. But I do get kind of curious about it sometimes, just because I feel like everyone has Procreate, and I'm like, I want to use the animated brushes. But I also like don't tend to take advantage of like gimmicky stuff like that in drawing programs too much anyway, so maybe I wouldn't actually like get much value out of that, because I tend to just just go in with the airbrush and that's it. Yeah, plain old airbrush. That's what is it's tagged brush. I think it might be customized in some way. I don't even know how to edit. Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. Yeah, like this is not a tutorial by any means, because I'm not very skilled. But if you would like a tutorial on some specific topic that you think I excel at, I don't think I really excel at anything, so yeah, but I would be willing to do a tutorial if that's what the masses wanted from me. And oh yeah, like my Q&A, the Q&A, yeah, that's gonna be fun. No, I got some good questions so far, and some interesting ones too. Like, I knew the anonymous question thing was gonna be a bit of a cesspool, so I'm not surprised about that. But just, and I kind of said as a joke, like, be respectful as a joke, because I knew people wouldn't be. But yeah, it just made me laugh seeing some of this stuff. And it's like, it's teenage boys, basically. I just don't know what people expect from propositioning a girl on the internet. Like, you can't actually expect that she would be interested in you, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah, and like no Clownly fans. I'm not doing Clownly fans because like I like having a community of artists following me. Like I want classy, cool artists, men and women alike, to follow me. That's my target audience, right? Not people who are addicted to internet pornography. So no, I will not be engaging in any of that sort of material. But I do plan on making a sort of compilation of erotic short stories. But I shouldn't talk about my ideas too much, because, you know, if I talk about something, it's just basically guaranteeing myself that I'm not going to do it. Because I'm not a woman of my word at all right now. No, do not have a strong will. And yeah, in terms of color, I kind of wanted this burgundy because it's kind of the blood color, and then her skin is just like a pale, sort of drained, but I put some blush. But then I'm like, is she wearing blush, or is she naturally blushing a little bit? I don't know. And I made her blonde. I don't know why. I think it looks good with the red, and I feel like she should have some clothing on. But what's color? Maybe like a dark blue. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what about art. This art stuff. Building a career off of art. I don't know, man. I like it. Because sometimes it's almost like I don't want a career in art, because then I would have to compromise, you know, to like, if I had a job specifically in art. If I was freelancing, I guess that's chill, but if I had like a job in the art sector, right, you're using up your creative energy, but you're executing ideas for like a client or for your boss or whatever. So I feel like that's like, that would not be enjoyable to me, and you know, it might even crush my desire to do art. So I would almost rather be working some desk job and then just do my art on the side for myself. But then also, like, those aren't the only two options. Like, I could just be an independent illustrator or whatever, do some commissions, album art, that sort of thing. I don't really know. I don't know. Like, I feel like I need an agent or something, but like, obviously I'm not like good enough to get an agent right now. But it's just like some of that, the people skills part of things. And like, because I went to art school, right, I can't call myself an outsider artist. I mean, it just doesn't feel right. But I definitely can see, I can sympathize with outsider artists of like struggling to do really like basic things, like applying to grants or like hunting down commissions. And I think that's why some of the people that you see maybe the most successful in art, and you see like their style is not that good. I mean, it's subjective, so I'm not trying to be a hater like that, but you know what I mean. Like, people who are maybe not as competitive in the fine arts world maybe, but they're getting like a ton of commissions, and it's just because they have that hustle that like maybe the more talented yet outsider artist maybe is not able to tap into. Or like maybe a lot of artists just don't really care. Like in my case, I don't really care about getting a commission, so that's why I'm not hunting it down. It's gonna be nice to have, you know, but yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm kind of like making weird excuses. I don't really know what I'm going on about. Yeah, making money off of art, it's just like, it's weird because it does feel like a compromise in a way. Like, you kind of just want the art to be good enough that no money has to be involved. It's just doing its own thing. And just like, and yeah, like secular art. I don't know, we need to bring back a religious art or something, or like spiritual art, like cave paintings. Yeah, I think that's my goal with art. I want to be doing cave paintings. I don't know. Yeah, and the drawing, it's kind of going off the rails. It doesn't really look good at all, so whatever. No, I'm usually like kind of gassing up my own art, but I think that when I'm talking at the same time, it's not as it's not as good as I would. I don't know. Also because I'm being a little bit loose with it, you know, like I'm not being too perfectionist, because the clicking button of the undo button, yeah, I haven't clicked the undo button once, just because I think it's kind of annoying to hear on the recording. So it's not a very precious drawing, okay? And I don't know, how long have I been recording for? I don't think it's gonna say here. Nah, whatever. So yeah, hopefully this video is not too long. I should have just like looked at the clock or something when I started. Yeah, live and learn. I don't know. I'm not very good at being a YouTuber. But I don't have any confidence problems. I keep saying this like fake humble stuff because I'm trying to appear humble. But I don't actually like hate myself or anything like that. Oh. And I don't know. Sometimes people send me like art related jobs and like encourage me to apply to them, and it's just like, I really don't want to, but I appreciate that people think of me. But I just, oh my gosh, some of them are just dire. Whereas like, if I actually got that job, you know, I'd be so miserable. But I can't say that. I can't say, no, I don't want this job when people send it to me, because like, just application postings, it's not like they're actual job openings, you know. But I always appreciate it when people think of me. She's kind of like looking more like an alien than a vampire. I don't really know how to bring the vampire aspect into this. And like, yeah, do vampires have pointy ears? I always draw them with pointy ears, but I don't. It's kind of like more elf-like or something. Oh, I read Batman Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth last night. That was really good. And like, I know it's whatever, so popular that everyone's already read it, but I didn't read it yet, so I read it for the first time, and that was really good. Just like super inspirational, and like it's crazy to think that all that stuff was like done before computers. Just like the layers and stuff taking place, where it's like, dang, even if I did that with a computer, I would still be fighting for my life. But yeah. Dave McKean, awesome stuff. I love the way Joker is drawn to just look so freaking deranged and scary. Just like really, oh, I messed up, but I don't want to undo it, so I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah, on this vampire lady. I have a vampire comic coming up. It's just, yeah. And as you know, when other people make excuses for themselves, I absolutely have no patience for it. Where they're like, I have great ideas, I just don't have the willpower to execute. And I'm like, you're just lying to yourself, you know. Or like, you know, it's just like, or not, you're lying, like it's true. But it's just like, yeah, that's the problem. It's the willpower that actually matters, not your ideas. But then I ended up doing the same thing and making the same silly excuses for myself. So I'm really no better. Nope. But yeah, I don't know, like I just like to doodle. The concept of like executing a project over a long period of time. But I always did enjoy doing drawing commissions, or not. I didn't do a lot of commissions. I mostly did request based, and that was always enjoyable to me. So maybe I might get back into that of like drawing people's OCs and stuff. Because yeah, as you can see from this, like just doing a little portrait in an hour or so is quite enjoyable. I can do half body, I can do bust, I can do full body, $40. Yeah, because sometimes I look at other people's commission rates and I'm like, holy moly, you're not charging a lot. But, well actually no, maybe, because like if you're fast with it, and you're charging $40 for a portrait, $40 an hour, it's pretty good. But then there's like more time included in that because you're also like the time spent communicating and maybe you're sending a draft. And so I don't really know, but commission pricing. Yeah, like why am I making her blue? She really just looks like an alien, and the eyes don't look right at all either. So it's okay though. I'm not gonna crash yet. Okay, that was my first undo. I keep getting ads for this. Well, no, because now if I talk about it, then I'm gonna be like an ad. So I'm not even. It's a little box, but I'm not gonna say the brand name, that you use when you're doing digital drawing for like maneuvering the canvas and hotkeys, whatever. But I don't think I'm not gonna buy it, even though I keep getting the ads for it. It's quite tempting. It's kind of like a glampire. Maybe I should give her lipstick because she's so glam. I love doing like the kind of glittery eyeshadow effect. Should I give her like a nose piercing or something? I don't know. I don't know if that's the vibe. Snake bite. Yeah. I do kind of just like, when I do create a character though, I do kind of like imagine a little world for them. So I think it would be fun to do like a comic series for some of these characters. I don't know. No false promises. And if you've made it this far and you're actually watching, just thank you for watching. And feel free to share your artwork as well, because I always like to get inspired by seeing other people's artwork. It definitely, you know, pushes me to make better works when I see what everyone else is making. Even though I have expressed some hater opinions in this video, I promise I'm not actually a hater. Just speaking in general terms. You know, general hate, but I never have any direct hatred. It's just like a general sense of things. And yeah, this is like really not clean at all. I would definitely want to push this a little bit more before I was ready to post it on Instagram, per se. So I'm just gonna do some boring rendering out. I don't know. And like, yeah, that's why I can't do a tutorial because I can't even explain the things I'm doing. You know, the lighting source, it comes from one direction. It just, you just need to know these things, okay? It's just practice. And who is it? Loomis, whatever, that guy. He says, what sets you apart from your peers in the world of art is doing studies. And I have not been doing studies. I've not been studying. So I'm falling behind right now. But yeah. Getting back into it. I don't know. It's like weird because it's like even when I'm drawing every day, there are times where I'm drawing every day and it's like fire, like I'm on a good streak. And then there's times where I'm drawing every day and it's like kind of waffling around. So I would say recently I've kind of been waffling around, but I don't know, because like I feel like that most of the time, but then when I look back on it, you know what I mean, then I was like, oh, I was actually on a good streak. I was actually being really productive, but I just didn't think in the moment, if that makes sense. I don't think I'm too harsh on myself. I think I'm too easy on myself. It's actually my real problem. And I don't like what this hair is doing at the bottom, so what can even be done about that? Instagram, social media, yeah, comparing yourself to other artists on social media. That's certainly, I don't know if that's enough, like, it's kind of good though, because you're getting inspired, right? But yeah, it's also not good because you're, I don't know. I just get so envious of other people's talents and output. But I did hear those expressions where someone said, like, you don't like your art because it looks like you made it. And I think, oh, that's kind of true. Like, I would never be satisfied with my own art. So I guess that's just part of it. Whereas every time I see someone else's art, I'm like, oh, it's so lovely. Such a beautiful expression of themselves. So, yeah, I'm kind of liking this. Alternative vampire girly. I don't really know how to draw blonde hair, though. I don't think I've ever drawn a blonde character before. I just felt like doing it today. And I don't know what the colors are. But it's also supposed to be kind of like an ashy blonde, because she's like undead, you know. Oh, I saw a funny content creator today talking about how vampires are autism coded. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Dracula, at least. Daily routine, not fitting into society. I don't know, maybe. But I don't know anything about autism, so I shouldn't. I really liked the most recent episode of The Rehearsal, where he goes to the autism expert. That was very fun. Yeah, don't watch TV, though. Definitely do not advocate for watching TV. Watch YouTube instead. No, just kidding. Don't watch anything. Sit there in silence. Do some Zen meditation. Okay, I feel like this is getting to the point where I'm almost... well, no, I mean, it needs a couple hours more, but just for the sake of this video. And I also feel like I've said all there is to say. Wow, and I didn't even have to do that thing where I stopped talking and, like, edit it out. So actually, I'm quite happy about that. I maintained a conversational demeanor instead of walking in and ignoring talking to make the drawing. That's pretty good. Yeah, like talking and drawing at the same time. Oh my gosh, it's really hard. And it's kind of like trying to do makeup while you know you're being filmed. Yeah, that's something I struggle with. And I'm interested to do more experimental makeup looks, clown-wise. Clown-wise and otherwise. But you know what I need to get? I need to get some water-activated eyeliners, because that's what everyone on Instagram uses. And they look so good. Because right now I'm just kind of waffling around with whatever old products I've had since literally years old. So it could be good to invest in some new makeup as a treat, a birthday treat. One of the funniest questions I got on the Q&A was, do you remember your childhood best friend's name? Like you're trying to get into my bank account? Because who doesn't remember their childhood best friend's name? Like, duh. But whatever. I'll answer that in the Q&A video, I suppose. That made me laugh. Yeah, keep the questions rolling in. If you can't find the question link, it's in the last video. Don't be lazy and go find it. I always thought those anonymous question things are so corny. Because, like, yeah, I liked it in middle school, but, like, as a grown adult, why are you posting anonymous questions? I say as I do it. I'm doing it ironically, okay? It's as a bit. Yeah, I do kind of have hater vibes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's my mom always took pride in being a hateful person, right? So I kind of adopted it. I feel like, oh, it's really cool to, like, hate people and hate things and be mean. But I'm working through it. Wow, I kind of like the purple vibe that she's, like, glowing. Purple's a really spiritual color, I think. Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done on this one. Vampire movies. I haven't actually watched that many vampire movies. So yeah, maybe I should give that a try. Oh, I don't want to give her any more piercings. I don't know about face piercings because whenever I see someone with face piercings, I get FOMO. But and for myself, I just don't think they would look good on me. Or it's less versatility, you know, because then you're gonna look alternative no matter what. But if you try to do some look from like a different era, it'll be hard to do a 1940s makeup look with snakebite piercings. Is all I'm saying. Not that you can't do it. Not that you can't, but it's just like a new level of challenge that I'm not ready for in my life. It's already too challenging, okay? I don't know. I just really don't like this drawing. What can I say? Oh my gosh. And yeah, I just struggle with like the fundamentals of like drawing and anatomy and composition, color, proportions. Yeah, just everything. I just struggle with drawing in general, so don't expect anything good from me. But actually, some of my favorite artists have this like really naive style, I would say. Even in like published like in comics. It's just kind of run and gun vibe. Or maybe they even didn't actually have that much experience drawing. And you know, like I think with a lot of comic artists, independent comic artists, they just felt some sort of impulse to like make comics. And they didn't necessarily study anatomy for all these years. And I really like the look of some of those artworks. So shouldn't be too hard on myself. It's all intentional. It's all intentional. It's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to look this bad. Yeah. Yeah, I keep trying to end this video, but I'm not finished with the drawing, so I have to find something else to talk about until I feel happy with it. And yeah, hopefully it's like a little bit ASMR too. My mom gave me an old Tascam recorder that she had lying around. I was like, I'll take it. And it's marginally improved my audio quality on my videos, which I'm happy about. Because I got some feedback that the audio quality is not good. And like, okay, I knew that it was not good. But like, what am I gonna do? Go and buy a microphone? Yeah, I guess I am. But for now, this works. Yeah, whatever. It's okay. It's okay, I guess. It's like not done. But it's a sketch. Yeah, let's call it a sketch. Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And please stay tuned for more content like this in the future.